In this video, we're going to be doing a Chapter 2 review of the Ruger Mark IV Lite. Now, if you've watched the Chapter 1 video, you would know there's a couple things I liked and some issues I had with the pistol as well. So just a quick review. What are some of the things I really like about the Ruger Mark IV? One is it's very easy to disassemble and clean. As we discussed in the previous videos, one of the big changes with these models are the quick action breakdown, as well as the bolt and slide release, which makes it very easy now to be able to clean, assemble, and disassemble the pistol, which is very important for a .22, especially since they get very dirty very fast. Other things I liked about it was that it's also very lightweight. We measured this in at 1 pound 9 ounces. Of course, there is a trade-off between weight and accuracy. For me, I would rather have a little bit more of a lighter pistol for the carry portion. If again, you want more accuracy out of the pistol, there is a tactical version as well that moves from aluminum to steel, which again will give you more stability and accuracy as well. And then the other thing that I really liked about this pistol was the ability to fire with the suppressor. This is really what I would consider to be a suppressor-ready pistol. Many pistols can take suppressors, but they're not really optimized for that. This pistol is, and as we showed in the first video, the lockup, the stability, the accuracy, and the reliability with the suppressor on this pistol platform is excellent. Now, where were some of the issues that I had with this pistol? The first one was the lever safety. They now have a lever activator. They used to have a button before. I'm not sure this is a progress or not. It is ambidextrous, which is good. But the challenge with this safety is, as you noticed from the first video, is when it's safe or when it's on fire, it's down near my thumb, and it's also near my hand as well. And I tend to high ride on my pistols, mostly for accuracy and reliability, especially for recoil management. It's just a habit that I have. And because of that, when I fire it over time, this tends to actuate. It's a very loose lever, and oftentimes I'll be firing and then it will just stop. It'll ride up on me. So that's the fire, but it will ride up on me, and then at times it'll feel like, you know what, maybe the pistol jammed or something like that. But in reality, it was the safety that's actuating on me. So that's, again, something that I haven't been able to fix on this pistol, but is something that I think Ruger needs to take a hard look at, especially the ability to, when these things lock into safe mode when you're not even realizing when you're firing the pistol. The other issue that I had with the pistol was the trigger. So if you remember from the previous video, the stock trigger I have an issue with on the Rugers. And I have an issue with this with a lot of firearm manufacturers, but especially when you have quality firearms like this one. Most people that are buying a pistol like this expect and they receive quality within the pistol, and they tend to do it everywhere except for the trigger. Some pistol makers do this really well, and they have good triggers, but the Ruger Mark IVs, in my opinion, didn't. And what I did as a result of that is I moved to a replacement trigger job on the pistol. So in this case, I used a Volquartsen Accurizing Kit for Ruger Mark IVs, which is right here, and I'll have a link below the video to where you can buy this as well, or find it on Volquartsen's website. It's not an easy installation job either. Unlike, for example, a Glock or things like that, where the average person can typically make a trigger job change out, it's more complex on the Ruger Mark IV, and unless you're really used to doing trigger jobs or things of that nature, it can become very complex. And as a result of that, Volquartsen provides instructions on their website of how to do the trigger job. And after doing the trigger job itself and reading through the instructions, I would recommend another option for you. There is a video below under installation video that I have linked to this video below in the comment section. I would highly suggest that you follow that video step by step and simply hit pause in each section of the trigger job that you do. What I've found, at least in my experience, was it was much easier and much more effective to do the trigger job by following the installation video, which was excellent, than by following the instructions here. In fact, if you do follow the instructions here, I've seen from reviews, and I can easily see why certain people have troubles. And it's not an easy process to change out the triggers on this. It can be done, but by following the instruction video that I have listed below, it's going to make it much easier for you. So once it's actually installed, the Volquartsen trigger, what I've found is I love the trigger now in this pistol, which is exactly what the trigger should have been before. And basically what this trigger does is it lightens up the trigger pull with a very clean break. And you also have the ability to adjust screws here and screws here for both pre-travel and over travel on your trigger pull, so you can get just the right fit and touch that you like. The trigger pull for me comes in around 2.5 pounds, which is excellent. It's perfect for this pistol. It's exactly what I wanted, and I love it. You're also going to notice that contour of the trigger is a little bit different than the stock trigger. The stock trigger is a standard, semi-moon trigger, but in this case, it's a little bit different. So when you see this contour, you'll know that this is a Volquartsen trigger that's been installed on a Mark IV as opposed to the stock trigger. It's one of the easiest ways to distinguish between the two. You also have the ability to both use a blackened trigger as well as they have a stainless version as well. But again, excellent upgrade. If you have a Ruger Mark IV, I would highly suggest updating the trigger, and here's why. I'm going to show you some of the accuracy I've received both before and after the trigger job took place. So this is the first groups that I fired from both 30 feet and 50 feet after the trigger job took place. And now I'm going to compare that to the groups I was firing before the trigger job at 30 feet. So you can see here in this case, the groups have definitely tightened up at 30 feet from after the trigger job to before the trigger job. And then at 50 feet, at least for me, there was a significant difference. In fact, you don't see much of a difference at all between 30 and 50 feet after the trigger job, but again, it opens up quite a bit here on the before and 30 and the 50 feet. And then moving that out even further to 70 feet and then closer into 20 feet. Again, very tight groups. So for this pistol, I have one flyer here. Not sure if that was the ammo or just me. It's either one, I'm sure. And then 20 feet, very, very tight group. And again, if I compare that to my groups that I've fired before at 70 feet, and at 20 feet, now this was, oh, I'm sorry, these are both 70 feet, but if you just look at the 70 feet comparisons, significant difference between the before as well as the after the trigger job. So, and again, this is just me firing. I know people have opinions about, hey, you know what, are you a good shot or not? Doesn't matter, it's all relative to me. What am I able to produce with the pistol, both before and after the trigger job? And as you can see here after the trigger job, it certainly has become more of an accurate pistol for me than before I did the trigger job, which means that for me, doing the trigger job was justifiable. I can't always do this on a pistol, but in this case, clearly there was a strong distinguishing before and after that. So it has become more accurate. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is reliability. I've had high reliability out of every single ammunition that I've fired out of this with the exception of one. The Aguila 22 Super Extra was the only ammunition that I had some failures to feed on, and they were failing at the first couple rounds on a full magazine. Not sure exactly why that was happening, but I never had that problem with my CCIs or my Winchesters or my Federals or anything else I was firing, but I did have this with the Aguila 22. So if you are going to fire a Mark IV, again, you might have a different experience than I do, but the one ammunition I will stay away from, at least within the Mark IV, is the Aguila. And for these reasons, otherwise it is a extremely reliable pistol as well, and excellent to fire. So that's the update. That's the Chapter 2 with the change with the Volquartsen trigger. Again, if you have a Mark IV or considering to get one, definitely consider upgrading the trigger of the Volquartsen. And you could see from the targets alone, the accuracy is much better. It's much more fun to shoot. The trigger pull is significantly lower. And again, the pistol's great, especially if you like the 1911 style pistol grips. You like the options of both iron sights as well as rail systems. You can put on optics or red dots or what have you, as well as firing as a suppressor. So again, thumbs up to Ruger for the Mark IV. I still think there's some areas of improvement, especially with the safety and the trigger, but beyond that, it really is a great pistol to own, and hope you have a chance to fire one and enjoy one. So if you like this video or you like this channel, please subscribe on YouTube, and thanks for watching.